Hello. Um, so first and foremost, I'd like to ask, how do you feel about Undersea Defense Technology Conference as a whole, and how do you feel it contributes to the industry and the market itself?
Well, yeah, UDT is a major event really in the industry. It brings together not only the exhibition but the conference, and the conference is a really interesting way to see new innovations coming into the marketplace and mixing that with the major primes which want to bring that forward and use that innovation going forward. Obviously, we've got other shows during the year. And some of those don't actually have so much of a conference element. And I think that detracts really from the benefit of those shows.
Right. So you feel that the lack of conference in other shows takes away from this progressive element in a way?
Yes, absolutely. I
Yes.
think there should always be an element of conference activity um, and and quality conference activity as well. I think that's the key thing. And we see in UDT quite a good spread of activity during the week.
That is true.
Variation in product, from battery technology through to control systems.
That's very true indeed, and they do the conferences. I don't know if you've seen any, but so far they've brought up quite a few important topics. Do you feel that in that sense anything they've brought up is also directly relevant to what you're trying to achieve, and has it helped you to maybe remodel the way you see some things?
I think the route that Stone Dynamics has going forward is fairly planned out in the activities that we have, our route map going forward. And I think that a number of those things really will support us in our activities into the future. Now, there are approaches at the moment which we're quite keen to get onto some of the major programs, so certainly for the future. And one of those would be our full authority submarine control product, as we refer to as FASC.
Wow.
Now, and we've got a demonstration of FASC at the show as well.
Did you, here?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Maybe we could take a look at that as well in the
Absolutely.
meantime. Okay, so would you like to tell us a little bit more about the product itself then?
Yes, well, FASC is conventionally you would have separated systems on a submarine,
Indeed.
whether it be trim, compensation, ballast, and hydroplane control. And what FASC does is put effectively a control over all of those control effectors in order to have the most optimum approach from going from one waypoint to the other. And the helmsman has the ability to control whether it's in a pitch or whether it's in a heave type of mode. So in that way, we are bringing the aerospace technology which is the foundation of Stirling Dynamics, and brought that into the marine industry.
That's fascinating. So you guys have reappropriated from one to be able to develop the other,
Yes, Stirling Dynamics is a company which this year is 30 years old.
along with UDT.
So we have
Congratulations.
brothers,
Sorry.
in fact. So,
Yeah.
and what we have is, as I say, Stirling Dynamics started out in the aerospace arena,
Yeah. So.
involved in flight control, and it's taken that knowledge. This is 19 years ago when we started with the marine activities.
Wow.
And we took that knowledge into the marine and have been developing control algorithms for industry since then.
Fascinating. Okay. In comparison to, because you say it's a fully automated system, in that sense it reduces manpower. I suppose it reduces cost for these things and to operate. In that sense, there are several other, I wouldn't say fully automated systems in that sense, but how do you feel that it differentiates from other systems that are trying to incorporate all the methods of operation of a submarine into one system?
There are systems out there which will purport to develop a more robust approach to control the submarines. What we have is a full adaptive control in our approach. It uses modern technology for control system design, and in that way, we feel as though it's the leader in terms of that innovation. What we're displaying here is actually a relatively low TRL level, so it needs further development. And we're looking for partners who want to develop with us,
Okay.
taking the ideas that we have and bring those into a real product, actually onto a submarine in the future.
I see.
And that's appropriate to mini submarines as well as the larger submarines, which many of the companies here are involved.
Hmm. And do you feel like you found someone or an entity or an organization
Certainly
that
have.
promotes this idea mostly?
Certainly have a lot of interest
There's a
in the
lot of
product,
interest.
and there is keenness now to take it forward. And we've seen from a number of boats happening, certainly in the American market,
Hmm.
that they're no longer called helmsmen; they're called pilots. And I think that
Isn't it?
that's the theme which is coming through. You are taking the control technology which is used in aircraft into
There.
the submarine domain.
Yeah, and it's an absolute correct change of name, because especially for a submarine, you're talking about piloting one of the most difficult and dangerous in the most difficult and dangerous environment as well.
Absolutely.
It was, I think, Rear Admiral Williams who said that it's as dangerous as space exploration, and so you need to maintain that safety and that element of control in the submarine. Do you mind if I ask you to show us a little bit about the
Yes, yes, of course.
yeah, fast.
And this is our fast product,
Hmm.
and I think we have to stop there a second. This is our fast product, and it's showing here the helmsman screen, and also over this side we have the various main ballast and the trim and compensation tanks. Now, when we have activation of the controls, we will have we'll command a depth and or we'll command a pitch depending on what the operator requires.
Of course.
But it uses then all of the effectors on the boat in order to achieve that optimum motion towards the next waypoint.
Okay.
One of the features is that it's using an active force feedback device. This is a fully programmable hand control,
Okay.
and it uses feedback from the main system to provide haptic feedback into the hand of the operator.
Wow.
So in that way, if you end up with a manoeuvring limitation diagram, it can sense where we are, or sensor indicates where we are, and if you're in an area or you're potentially going into manoeuvre which is undesirable, then the hand controller will force back into your hand to tell you to avoid that area.
Avoid that area.
However, you can always exceed that control up to the safe limits.
Okay.
And so you'll have a tailored force characteristic up to a soft stop, and then you could force back through that. Now those soft stops will change as a function of where you are within inside the manoeuvring diagram, and also within the safety envelope of the actual submarine.
So this is a fully comprehensive system, which basically you're saying it will also sense for danger. So it's with sensors with the exterior and the interior.
It has potential to have that in it.
Okay. Yeah, as you say, it's a
sense
development process.
A sense and avoid type.
That's incredible, especially for a submarine when you're talking deep sea level dealings, which is not the simplest to do. What I was going to. So you say that it maintains a sense of control. Sorry, it maintains a sense of control because you can still force past. So this system is not going to be entirely. I mean, it is automated, but it will be.
It's not designed to take away control from the helmsman,
But to suggest.
But to indicate to him, to provide additional feedback for him to reduce the stress of doing the work. So it's the loading. So which has the effect of reducing manning requirements on the boat.
Right.
It also has the effect of reducing the fatigue of the operator as well.
Of course.
So providing the either visuals as well as the haptic feedback into the hand of the operator.
And that way, I suppose that way we reduce. Sorry, I'm going to turn this. That way we reduce not only cost but also risk factors for people. And this just doesn't have only applications in the military, I presume.
Absolutely, that's exactly right. However, this process, what we have here, this innovation, does need further development.
It does.
As I say, we're looking for additional partners to bring it forward.
Of course. Well, there we go. Thank you very, very much.
That's a pleasure.